All right, I want to show you what we're working on with the Solve for Max, the range calc screen. Let me go onto my computer here. You're used to seeing this view, and this is a real tax return. I found one with a bunch of bumps that we can talk about, make it a little more interesting. You're used to this view on the range calc screen. Now again, we're looking at the marginal impact of the next dollar of ordinary income in this graph. And the hard part is trying to figure out what the various pieces are. I mean, it's kind of easy to figure out, okay, 22%, but this is 27. That's probably maybe 15% capital gains plus 12% ordinary income. Hard to know. So what we've got new is, again, this is going to be the same return. Let me just scroll down here. This is going to be available first in beta, and then we'll roll it out to everybody. But we're breaking out what's going on with that chart. And there's some interesting things happening here. So first of all, at a certain level, there's no tax, but look what happens here. As we start to add ordinary income, not only are we adding income in, say, the 10% bracket, but if you look real closely in green there, we're bringing more Social Security income into taxable. And so every dollar of income, yes, is taxed at 10%, but it's also bringing more Social Security in, which is in turn taxed at 10%. And in fact, as we jump up a level, look at this. I'm now in the 12% ordinary income bracket, but that extra 85 cents on the dollar of Social Security now is getting taxed at 12% as it's being added to my overall income. So you can see that little spike there. Now what happens though is once all Social Security is taxable, there's no incremental marginal impact, at least on Social Security side, of adding another dollar of income. We get the question a lot, like, how can this number ever drop? Well, the answer is, as you add more income, you don't keep making more and more of the Social Security taxable. Eventually, all of the Social Security that's going to be taxable is taxable. And so that's why it spikes and then drops back down. What's happening here is the same thing on capital gains. Once you hit a certain level of taxable income, your capital gains then become taxable at the 15% bracket. This particular taxpayer, I'm guessing, once they hit enough, once they hit enough ordinary income, the entirety of their capital gains became taxable, and therefore then there was no incremental impact of adding more ordinary income. And then there's another little artifact here, the 3.8% net investment income tax, and that has the same behavior where it comes in, and then it's there, and then it's gone. So that's what's going to happen with range calc, is the idea of, yes, first opt in for beta if you want to kind of watch us kind of iron out some of the final kinks on this. What we'll do is we'll make sure you can have both versions of the screen. So if something looks funky here, you'll be able to go back and look at the aggregate as well. But yeah, that'll be available to beta testers, but it just makes it a little easier to tell what the heck's going on in here. I've got an example on the capital gains side that I wanted to show you. Here's that graph. There's that infamous spike that I've talked about before in previous videos. Why is this little tiny sliver always taxed at this high rate when I add capital gains income? Well, and the answer is because there's in that tiny little $3,000 sliver, whenever you add a dollar of capital gains, you're taking away an amount of capital loss that was counteracting ordinary income. So when you're in that sliver, adding a dollar of capital gains has the same effect of adding another dollar of ordinary income. Once you hit the end of that $3,000 sliver, now we're back into capital gains territory. And what we're seeing here is it's at 15% for this particular taxpayer. And then after a certain point in time, the net investment income tax kicks in. So there's that 3.8%. So at least now we'll be able to see in pretty blue color here what is going on. Why are we seeing ordinary income showing up in a capital gains graph? Why are we seeing that funky little spike of something more than 15 or 20%? That's the new range calc. Solve for Max. We're living with this name for those screens. I think we're going to get used to it eventually. But yeah, if you're interested, go ahead and click a button. It'll be at the top of the screen to opt into the beta. We'll probably have that in the next couple days. And we'll just see how it goes. We'll learn from it and try to improve it, and then we'll roll it out for everybody. All right. Thank you so much. Take care.